Hey folks, coming up in blimey. Is that me? Oh God. Oh. Seven minutes. Hold on, do a quick test. Just gonna test something. Do. Good. If you're watching an archive version, you might want to fast forward 7 minutes to the top of the show. Robin Horsley with me today. Please share the thing. Let folks, no, I don't know, whatever. I can't take that. I went to the dentist today. Hold on. Oh yeah, that's better.
Searching for the lost and found, but you don't care, you're unaware. Keep moving like the scars aren't even there. It's in the air like a blazing flare. Don't stare cause the flames will burn us. I thought you were the one for me.
Lisa Marie Fuge says, oh my goodness, Ollie, I just shared this in a mental health awareness group by mistake.
So you meant the words.
Perfect.
kiss your
Perfect demographic, Lisa.
hold your hand while the pain was over. Keep you warm by the roaring sea. You meant the world to me.
Hey, Robin.
Hello, mate.
Good. Hey, how are you? Good. Got your video?
Very good.
Oh, it's nice and sunny there. Lovely. Oh yeah, do your hair.
Oh, you meant the world to me. My darling dear, you're never here.
Never
When
here.
I'm in pain, you hide and disappear. Like shadows in the atmosphere, charting the stratosphere. Yeah. I prayed for you and kept you near in hopes you'd chase away my fears. I'm on my own, you made it so, and now I'm chasing nightmares too. I used to run with you through the great big leaves, laugh at you when you laugh at me. Hope for us because I believe the home was just you and me. I thought you were the one for me. That's why I gave you everything. Held you close by the stormy seas. Oh, you meant the world to me.
Getting excited, Nick.
Oh, you meant the world to me.
I need 10 seconds, that's all. Copyright free, Facebook.
Oh, you meant the world to me. Oh, I'm gonna do this on my
Oh,
own.
hold on. There you go. That's it.
No point in blaming you, did not know.
Oh, yeah. That's enough of you. Go away. Right. Tell you just can't get the stop. Good evening, good people. Yeah. Welcome to the Daily Brexit. Holding democracy to account, fighting for self-determination and exposing plutocracy. I'm Olly Connelly. Thanks for turning up. And now, catch up, because I don't know, I didn't spend much time thinking about it, really. Did you hear the one about Brexit means Brexit? Whatever happened to that one, eh? More to the point, where are we now? In the foothills of a May-bound Halloween. Robin Horsley from the Great Brexit Debate offers some insight. Taking your calls from 7:30 on UK's national number is in the description. And we'll see you in the comments. Please support the show, paypal.me/Brexit. Thank you. And share the thing, like the page, whatever, all that. Let folks know we're talking, we are thinking, we're watching, we are active. Oh dear. We should really change the ending of that, you know. That was Glastonbury, for crying out loud. Robin, good evening. How are you, sir?
Good evening, Ollie. I'm very good, thank you.
It's good to have you on the show. Good to have you back on the show. Thank you. Well, let's just go through and have a look at a few of the stories in no particular order, because I've just got...
When you've done that...
Go
on.
on.
Sorry, when you've done that, I've got a list of issues and things to give you So you'll probably pick up some of them anyway. But I'll give you that list after if that's okay, and we can pick off things in whatever order you want to pick them off.
All right, fine. Yeah, in no particular order, really. I mean, it's just really day after day, more of this. End of Tory party. Express May faces devastating EU election wipeout. This is according to their poll, which, of course, their demographic is somewhat biased, but nonetheless, Theresa May's Tories face being crushed in the European elections as Nigel Farage's Brexit party looks set to storm to victory in next month's vote, according to express.co.uk's latest poll. More than 20,000 people, 89%, said they would back the former UKIP leader's grassroots rebellion party if Britain heads to the polls in May. This is compared to just 211 express.co.uk readers, 0%, who said they would vote for the Conservative Party in the forthcoming May elections. The poll results come as it emerged disillusioned voters have sided with Nigel Farage, and the Brexit Party is currently odds-on favourite to win the majority of the seats in the UK. Taking second place was Remainer Party Change UK, who are fighting to stop Brexit with 4% of the vote. Just 709 people. UKIP got 4% of the vote, with 714 people saying they would back Gerard Batten's party in the European election polls. Blimey. Are you surprised by any of that, Robin?
Am I surprised by what?
I mean,
results? No, I'm not at all. To be honest, I think he's doing an amazing job. I think the Brexit Party are doing a.
Did you expect the level of support that there is being shown, at least as far as the polls are concerned, is surely surprising?
No, I don't think so. Not because the polls are for the European elections, and what they've very cleverly done is people are joining as supporters, not as members. And from a technical point of view, what that means is that you can still be, for example, a Conservative Party member, but also at the same time, simultaneously, be a Brexit Party supporter. What you're excluded from doing as a, for example, Conservative Party member is from being a member of the Conservative Party while simultaneously being the member of another party. Does that make sense? So what that means is there is a kind of core of people who are, not just at all from the Conservative Party, but there's a big rump of them from the Conservative Party. I mean, I had a conversation, and you'll understand why I can't mention the person's name, the other night, who is out on the doorsteps campaigning for the Conservative Party in the local elections, who I asked, who are you going to vote for? And he said, what, in the locals? Even in the locals, he said, I'm not going to vote Conservative.
Really?
Out campaigning for somebody else, not for himself, for somebody else.
And he's from the Tory, from the local Tory.
Why are you doing that? And that tells you a story, okay? Because that tells you a story because you've got a situation where somebody is a member of the Conservative Party, a loyal member for many years.
Somebody who does go out and deliver pamphlets and campaigning stuff for them.
Delivers pamphlets, goes to events, all that kind of stuff. Yet, even in the local elections on May the 2nd, next week, they are not considering voting Conservative, despite the fact that they're out there campaigning with Conservative candidates. So why are they out there campaigning for the local elections? Well, they're doing it because they're not quite ready to put all of their eggs in one basket. They're not quite ready to move all the way across to the Brexit Party on a sort of permanent basis, if you like, or a semi-permanent basis, with a sort of view of a future parliamentary election. They're not quite ready for that. And so they want to keep him in the Conservative Party. But how they really feel, they're just not prepared to vote Conservative. And it is that desperate for the Prime Minister at the moment.
Wow. Absolutely.
Do you want me to run through a couple of those things?
Yeah, carry on. Yep.
I think we should talk about the fact that there's a headline that there's no plans to bring the withdrawal agreement back next week. We should talk about Johnny Mercer because he's been under attack. I saw Patrick O'Flynn, who is MEP for the SDP, which is a sort of re-emergence of the old Social Democratic Party.
Yeah.
He was a UKIP MEP who he actually ran. He was the campaign manager for the 2014 European elections, in which UKIP topped the poll. They won the European elections, if you remember. Mm-hmm. On Tuesday, I saw Matthew Elliott. Matthew was the director of Vote Leave during the referendum, so that might be interesting. Mm-hmm. Sorry about that. Got somebody trying to call me after.
Well, look, I'll tell you what. Hold on a sec. Let's start on. Let me just take folks through one or two of the stories going on today in the world of fake stream and Mail Online. Tory plotters bid to get rid of May collapses as MPs decide keeping Theresa means stopping Boris from becoming PM. And this latches into what you were saying, Robin, about the discontent with the grassroots. This is surely going to fuel their discontent. Just to read a couple of lines from this story and get your comment on this. Theresa May's state of execution is being seized on by enemies of Boris Johnson, but his supporters claim Tory MPs have bottled it. It was revealed yesterday. The Prime Minister has been given some breathing space after senior Tories rejected plans that could have seen her forced from office within weeks. In a significant setback for Mrs May's Brexiteer critics, the ruling executive of the 1922 Committee of MPs blocked a bid to change the leadership rules to allow a fresh vote of confidence in her. I think that the call for this, Robin, was grassroots-led, was it not? And so presumably folks like the character that you were talking about earlier are going to be more angry.
Well, there are two issues here. The first is the 1922 committee, and the second is this motion put forward by chairmen of Conservative associations around the country, of which there are more than 65 who've signed this motion, which is a sort of non-binding vote of no confidence in the Prime Minister. All it does is it puts pressure on the Prime Minister.
65 constituencies have sent that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's in more than 65, I think now. So that's there are two things. So there's that, and secondly there is the 1922 committee. Now there was a piece in the Telegraph, I don't know, a week or two ago, 10 days ago maybe, from the two previous chairmen of the 1922 committee before, so the predecessors to Sir Graham Brady, who said, look, you can change the rules. If you want to change the rules, you can change the rules. But what Sir Graham Brady has said is that rather than saying to the Prime Minister, look, we're changing the rules, we can have another vote of no confidence whenever we want to, he said, oh no, a timetable is required. A timetable is required for your departure. The Prime Minister needs to step forward and say when she's actually going, not just in the scenario of having got her withdrawal agreement through, because that's the problem.
The thing is, we need a timetable. The country needs a timetable for Brexit. Never mind a timetable for this damn Ramoron Prime Minister. I mean, there is such a disparity here between grassroots sentiment and that of the higher echelons of the Tory party in their ivory towers. I mean, they are going to get crushed. They're even talking now. Well, yesterday, they wouldn't actually say whether or not they were going to put forward or support candidates for the EU elections. They just didn't have any comment from number 10. I don't know whether they did today.
No, I've not seen anything on that. I don't know if you want to put me back on screen, by the way, because...
Oh, sorry, please.
All my fans will be just desperate, mate.
Oh, Robin, yeah.
I don't know about that. It may be a lie. I'm sorry, I'm trying to follow the comments, but you're getting so many, Ollie. I'm really struggling with it.
Blimey. Wow. Okay. So anyway, that's the take on that. And otherwise, it is... well, we'll go through some of the candidates standing in a minute as well. Sorry, go on, Robin. Yeah.
I know. You're going to go through some of the candidates. I was going to just bring up a point about Jeremy Hunt. I don't know if you've seen the piece on Jeremy Hunt, who's one of the alternative candidates. Have you seen that?
What, for the leadership, you mean?
Well, Jeremy Hunt, the headline on Sky News I just noticed earlier, says, Jeremy Hunt says no deal is better than no Brexit, which is a big departure from his previous point. But if I may translate that for a moment into English, what that means is, please, 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 can I be party leader without the bother of having to go through a general election, and therefore I can be prime minister without a general election? You know, what Jeremy Hunt is trying to do is reposition himself to try and please the crowd, and the crowd at the moment is saying, look, particularly the Conservative crowd, 70% of whom want Brexit, and the majority of those who want no deal Brexit, just get it done. So he's positioning himself for those people in anticipation of putting himself forward in a leadership election. So it's kind of, you know, that just kind of tells the story. But I mean, we can go on to talk about Johnny Mercer if you want, whenever you're ready to.
But before that, Boris is way ahead in the lead, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know what you just did with your camera, but I'll have to sort that out anyway. Maybe it was me. But yeah, he's way ahead in the lead, and it doesn't look as though the likes of Jeremy Hunt have got a look in.
Oh, I don't know what happened there. I'm zoomed right in on it.
You're fine now. You're fine. Yeah. Sorry.
No,
anyway.
Sorry. So it doesn't look like Jeremy Hunt's got a look in.
Well, I mean, none of them. At least. And again, here there could well be a grotesque disconnect between the grassroots and the Tory party. 1922 and what have you. The MPs who presumably would try to block Boris, but he has overwhelming support in the country.
The thing is this: Boris can win a general election, and that is always a big consideration. And the closer we appear to be to a general election, the more members of Parliament will be looking at the polls and saying.
But would the public believe that Boris would give them Brexit?
Well, this is the problem. This is the problem with Boris, isn't it? Now, if we just go back in history to the immediate aftermath of the referendum campaign in 2016, and Boris was running in the leadership election after David Cameron quit, and Michael Gove was we were told was stabbed him in the back. There's more to that story, frankly, than that. That is, as always, these things are massive oversimplifications of the scenario. But the fact is, Boris pulled out of the leadership election at that point. He pulled out of the opportunity to be Prime Minister at that point. Gove is always accused of stabbing in the back, but frankly, Boris decided to go. And I think that's going to be a consideration. The problem that Boris has got is that although in the Conservative membership, he's got great support, in terms of the parliamentary party, he hasn't. And bear in mind the way that the leadership competition works is that basically the MPs whittle down, the Conservative MPs whittle down all of the candidates until they get to a final two. And then the final two go to the membership. The problem with that is it's a slow process. And so there is always the incentive for deals to be done at a parliamentary level in order to speed up the process of replacing an old leader with a new leader. And there's going to be the temptation in this particular scenario when we're up against the clock. With October 31st, Halloween Day looming, that MPs are going to want to try and solve this quickly by doing kind of deals. If you remember what happened when you had Gove, Leadsom, and Theresa May left in the race. Gove got knocked out, and then Leadsom walked away, and so Theresa got it by default. It never went to the membership, did it? That's the sort of scenario that may occur again, and that is what could knock Boris out of the frame.
Okay, let's take a few comments. Anne-Marie Wildman says, people are naive. There will never be a true election again if we stay in the EU. No need for MPs. And May's Peg, Ollie, they're not bothered because May is dragging out Article 50 until the Lisbon Treaty comes into full force. Then our government are out of work as EU will run everything. Anne-Marie Pegg has got a point, hasn't she, Robin? I mean, this could potentially be dragged out over the course of the next year, the way things are going.
Yeah, she has. I sort of hesitate on the point of the Lisbon Treaty because As you and I both know, there's been a lot of nonsense being put around on the internet on the Lisbon Treaty. So when people refer to it without being very precise about the particular things they're referring to, we have to be a bit careful about how we respond. There's been a lot of disinformation put out about it. But I totally agree with the point that I think to look at October as being, a definite kind of date, forget it. I mean, it can be firmly kicked into long grass, long way beyond that. I know the EU are saying at the moment, oh no, but the EU don't want no deal. It is absolutely not in the EU's interests to accept no deal. The reason is this, right? We would spend, companies in the UK economy would have to pay between £5 and £6 billion in tariffs if they wanted to export the same amount of goods to the EU as they currently do. The EU must do to us. Olly, can you hear me?
That's better. Sorry, my sound card needed a reboot. Please carry on. Are
you back?
Yeah.
Okay.
All good.
So we pay 5 to 6 billion a year, right? Mm-hmm. We would pay 5-6 billion a year if we wanted to keep up the same level of exports to the EU as we do currently, because we would have to pay tariffs.
Right.
The EU, for their exports to us, would have to pay or have to absorb £13 billion
really
in tariffs, right? So it's a pretty much a 2-to-1 ratio. Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, there is massive pressure from the German economy to avoid that. Car manufacturers, heavy industry, that kind of stuff. Yeah. Mm-hmm. There's also heavy pressure from the French, because the French, you think about France, the way it's constituted, it has 2.5 times the land mass of the UK. It has a massive agricultural industry, and we do buy quite a lot of food from France. And that would be hit as well, because EU tariffs on food are very high. That's how they stop all of our ex-Commonwealth or current Commonwealth, but ex-suppliers of agricultural products, so food products, from supplying us cheaply at the moment. They do it because
she didn't want to talk about any of that, did she? I mean, absolutely. That is what she or any person with that mandate for Brexit, to lead Brexit, should have been talking about from the front, and insisting and saying, if you're not going to talk about that, then we're just going to go off no deal.
You only have to. You have to. It's interesting.
Really is that simple?
I don't know if anybody's read.
It really is that simple. I mean, for me, Robin, that is proof positive that May is a foreign agent.
Well, look, put it this way, right? I don't know if anybody who's watching tonight has read the book The Great Deception, but if you get onto Amazon, have a look, download the free sample. I think probably is one, and have a look at that. And it's a very, very, very good book on the whole history of all this stuff, going back to the 1940s and before that. The whole kind of inception of the EU as we know it, or the EEC as it was, and explains really what it's about, and all about the kind of ideological ideas. So although the economics make a lot of sense for us to move outside the European Union, and for people like you and I, Ollie, and most of the people watching tonight, the political ramifications of having our own sovereignty, having our own accountable democracy are very important to a whole raft of politicians who believe that they know better and they're part of the elite. It doesn't make sense. They want a system which means that they can prescribe what we can vote for. If that makes sense?
Yeah, no, sure. Absolutely. Going to go through some other stories, but just take a few more comments. Leah Lewis says, even skeptical about Dom Raab, don't really trust any of them anymore. We're already out. And Marie Wildman says, Dave Jenkins, hey Dave, don't matter who's in there, all paid puppets, snakes with tits. Sue Dacey, can't trust anyone who's voted for the WA, and all the candidates have.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Can I just pick up on that point?
Yeah, please.
That's the problem the Conservatives face at the moment. What happens? What are they going to do? They're going to put in another leader, and another leader who says one thing, but are they just like the leaders before, going to do something different? That is Boris's problem. You know, he can. If you look at the polling, he can win a general election, but when it really comes down to it, are people actually going to trust him? This is the horrible corner that Theresa May has put the Conservative Party in. Is like, we're looking at them, we're going, how can we trust any of you? Meanwhile, the Brexit Party are running around the country and they are dripping out all their EU candidates. I don't know if you've watched how they're doing it, but very, very clever the way they're doing it.
Yeah,
they are running events.
Right. It is.
They ran one in the East Coast yesterday.
Yeah.
They're running other events in Wales.
They've been drip feeding quality candidates, haven't they? Drip feeding day on day in, day out.
Yeah, serious people, not career politicians. Serious people.
That's right.
And
that looks very different to the Chuck Up Party or Chuck Party, the Change UK Party, doesn't it? They have had lots of problems with their rollout.
Did you see their launch? I mean, it was. You know, this is.
Are they just going to be completely obliterated? They're not going to get anywhere. They must be. Apparently, I heard that they would be backing the Prime Minister were there any confidence vote, because they want to safeguard their seats for as long as they can keep them.
Yeah.
But yes, so for example, here we've got on Guido, Brexit Party unveils 7 new candidates. That was today. The Brexit Party announced a further 7 candidates for the election. Louis Steadman Bryce, investor and businessman. Lucy Harris, former fishmonger, opera singer, and director of Leavers of Britain. Martin Daubeny, a journalist and commentator, former editor of Loaded magazine. James Wells, former head of trade at the ONS. Wells resigned yesterday in order to stand for the Brexit Party. Elizabeth Babade, a Nigerian-born lawyer. Dr. Hendrik Overgaard Nielsen, the chair of the General Dental Practice Committee. Danish-born trade unionist and NHS dentist. And there's somebody trying to call in, but I'm taking calls from the bottom of the hour, another 5 minutes, and then please call in. And David Bull, Dr. David Bull, the medical director and TV presenter. So I don't know, maybe he's a bit more populist, but I actually met that guy. He's a nice bloke. But they look like esteemed citizens, Robin, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, I know Lucy Harris pretty well, actually. She
former fishmonger and an opera singer. What a mix!
Well, actually, Lucy set up a group called Leavers of London, which was a great initiative. She did that last year, and basically what she did was she organised kind of networking events in London. Mm-hmm. So it's called Leavers of London. The idea was that, you know, people are pretty persecuted in central London after the referendum. You know, people would not admit to their friends they voted Leave. Such was the vilification in the press of, you know, these racist, ignorant, nasty, horrible Leave voters that you know, people didn't want to sort of come out as Leavers, if you like. And so Lucy set up this kind of social events, pubs and restaurants in London, and lots of people went along and sort of met other people of the same mind, and it was a great idea. And then she had expanded that into Leavers of Britain a few months back, and a lot of people came out of the woodwork and set up different independent groups that were allied to her sort of organisation, if you like. Mm-hmm. So Lucy's done a great job on that, and it's good to see her in that list. Lucy's not somebody who's got, you know, vast commercial experience. She actually works at City Hall in London for a politician there, so she's got sort of good political knowledge, which is something they're going to need in the mix. But it's what's great as well is to see, you know, just, you know, regular folk. What was it? NHS dentist, you know, people who come from all walks of life, from all different cultural backgrounds, but serious people, serious people, not people who just, want to be on the stage. People who are, in some cases, quite reluctant to be on the stage, but are doing it because they think, this is a serious job of work we've got to do here. We've got to take back our country. So, listen, I'm off the fence. I applaud what the Brexit Party are doing.
I'll tell you what, Robin, I'm just looking at a couple of stories on Westminster today as well. And this whole populist movement is so sweeping Europe now. Two stories just to highlight. Le Pen's national rally is polling first ahead of Macron's party for EU election. And another story they got, less than half of voters in Italy and Czech Republic would vote to remain. That story says the latest Eurobarometer polling released by the EU's own parliament has revealed that less than half of voters in Italy and the Czech Republic would vote to remain in the European Union. That's incredible. That's from their own polling company. In a sign of how Euroscepticism and discontent across the continent, 47% of those in the Czech Republic said that they'd vote to stay in the EU. Meanwhile, in Italy, the Eurobarometer indicates that 49% would vote to remain.
Well, let me just, Olly, can I just go back to the story from France for a minute?
Yeah.
Bear in mind what's going on in the streets of France at the moment. You've got armed police beating up protesters. I shared a piece on my blog. I thought I might get banned for it, but I thought one or two anyway. On my Facebook site. I thought I might get banned, but I wanted to do it anyway, which was some video of armed police beating up some disabled people in the streets of Paris.
Really?
Because they're protesting. It's just horrifying. It's horrific what's going on. A lot of my family are French. I'm married into a French family. My wife is half French. So we have kind of good contacts with what's going on. We were in. Here's a kind of bit of an anecdote to just talk about Macron and Le Pen. We were in. I took a weekend off during the 2016 referendum campaign, and went to Paris for the weekend because I was absolutely exhausted in the midst of this. I was working 20 hours a day almost, just absolutely exhausted during the referendum campaign. Took a week off, went to Paris, met some friends over there, and they said, and they're very involved in the French establishment. The families are, embedded in the media and the political structures, if you like, of the French system. And I said, explain it to me, put it in simple language for me, what the dynamic is, what's really going on here. And they said, well, look, what's really happened is that the compact between France and Germany in many people's minds has broken. The idea was always that the Germans would get the industry and the French would get the agriculture. And the sort of breadbasket of France, if you like, would feed Germany and the rest of Europe. And therefore their economy would be successful because they would feed Europe. They would sort of close the barriers around Europe. Because France was never going to be an efficient producer of agriculture, just culturally, they just don't do it in an efficient way. But that was the trade, The Germans would do the industry, the French would do the agriculture, and that was the view was it was a partnership between the two of them. But really, what the French realised over time was that it wasn't a partnership. The Germans were becoming much, 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 much more prosperous, largely as a result of the euro, because the euro placed them in a position where they had much stronger. Well, they devalued effectively the Deutschmark by entering the euro, and which made their exports cheaper. So it made their industries and therefore their people richer, particularly those people at the top of industry who actually own the industries. Yeah. And that was the kind of problem they were facing in 2016. And then of course Macron came along. And Macron said, no. He said, no, we will lead Europe again. And he rejuvenated the European vision sufficiently to push Le Pen out of that top spot as a potential leader, potential president, because people had misgivings about Le Pen. They remembered Le Pen as the National Front of old, her father, who she symbolically kind of sacked from the National Front, if you remember.
Yeah, that's right. Jean-Marie.
But it was kind of, people didn't know whether to trust it. They thought it was a symbol. It's her father. It didn't seem kind of, it's not. It's kind of obvious conflict there. Was she just, selling them a line? And actually, when she was voted in as president, that would become a horrible kind of hard right sort of thing. And now, people feel conned by Macron. People feel we made a mistake. Macron was the dumb thing that we should have done, that we should have got rid of, not Le Pen. And so inevitably she is storming back in the polls. Okay. Now, I've got to tell you, I don't know anything more beyond that. I don't know what Le Pen's really about. But apparently that's the dynamic in France. You know more about Spanish politics, but that's what's going on in France.
Well, yeah, they just to give you the headline, the top couple of lines on this story today in Westminster, for example, Le Pen's national rally, which was Front National, wasn't it? Polling first ahead of Macron's party for EU election. Marine Le Pen's national rally are now polling in first place across France ahead of the European elections next month. The latest opinion way poll for Les Echos has national rally on 24% ahead of Emmanuel Macron's on Marche on 21%. The right of centre Republicans are even further behind, polling in a distant third on just 14%. And so, well, it's pretty incredible. This is the Daily Brexit with me, Olly Connelly. I've got Robin Horsley here from the Great Brexit Debate, and we're chewing the fat, if you like, the political fat and what's going on at the moment. Take a few more comments. We got Wolfcat. It's to subsidize the inefficient farmers in EU. Get us out now. Stav Woodcutter. Globalists do not give a fig about countries and sovereignties. Keith Shippey. She works for International Way. You think she went running to get them? It passed by their law. It's P. Jagger 69. That 1922 committee had a chance to salvage something, and they passed it up. Tough. Bye-bye Tories for a couple of generations at least. Go on, Robin.
Listen, there is this kind of, you're absolutely right in that comment, whoever put that, because the Conservative Party is so sclerotic that it doesn't realise it's got to move fast if it wants to have any chance whatsoever of retrieving this situation. It's nuts. I gather from contacts that the Prime Minister is going to be doing some visits to target areas in over the weekend, in the hope that she can bolster the vote in some places. And the places I've been told she's going to indicate that she is not. She's in secure, what you would expect to be secure Conservative places, right? Yeah. So what that means is,
Maidenhead.
Look at where the constituencies that the leader is going to in any election. Look at where the constituencies that the leader is going to. Yeah. If they are going to constituencies that are 100 on their target list, so they don't have those constituencies currently, and it's 100 above, the ones they have currently, then they're really optimistic. My understanding from what I've been told today is that she is in solid Tory seats this weekend.
Really? So
she is trying to defend things that were, bastions that were unbreachable.
Yeah, it's incredible.
If that makes sense.
It's amazing.
Yeah, so it's extraordinary. And the Conservative Party, they're lost in space. They are not getting it. They are thinking, oh no, we'll go and do another focus group and find out what people think some more and see if we can find little niches that we can, persuade. No, you've got it fundamentally wrong.
Okay, take a few more comments. Keith Shippey says, you need win the battle on Facebook by going on Remain's site and shutting them down. The British hive mind, Le Pen and Wilders are together meeting with other populists. Good news. And he also says, Wolfcat also says, the only good thing the French do is onion, garlic, cheese and wine. And P. Jagger 69 adds and truffles. Fine. Naomi M says German companies are being bought up by China Steve B, German Hillary, lots of laughs, love that. Mem with, I don't know. Wolfcat, the euro was launched when I still lived in Germany. They upped the prices every week for the exchange rate, and the day the euro was there, everything cost twice as much, and I didn't recognize that. Well, I was living in Spain. Well, no, I wasn't. I was visiting Spain regularly when they changed over from the peseta to the euro, and same deal. Cost of a cup of coffee doubled overnight, no question about it. But yeah, there you go.
Can I just pick up a point I've just seen? Windy Miller has been trying to push this point a couple of times. I've written it down earlier, but Windy Miller didn't know that.
I'm trying to ignore Windy. Sorry, go on.
Sorry?
No, carry on. Windy's fine.
Yeah, I was just going to say, could you go on to the Great Brexit Debate and drop me a message about that issue that you're bringing up, because I don't know about it and I'd really like some background on that. I'd be very, very much appreciated. It's about the point that's been made is that there is a connection between George Soros and the climate girl Greta. Now, I don't know a lot about that story, to be honest. I'm aware of it, but I haven't really followed it in detail. So,
really, yeah,
could send me or message.
What is she
Olly,
funding?
Either way,
is he funding? Because I wonder about the timing of that. What is it? Climate extinction lot. The timing, it does seem like a bit of a convenient distraction. People are not talking about Brexit and what with Easter and all the rest of it as well. But I don't know. Is that maybe just a bit conspiratorial of me?
No, I don't think it is. I think the reality is that it does distract attention, and we have to be very, very, very vigilant at the moment. Laura Koonsberg posted earlier that there are no plans to bring the withdrawal agreement back next week. Well, no surprise there, because the Prime Minister doesn't want to jeopardise her fragile hold on some on some borough councils sort of thing in the vote next week. But the week after, she's probably going to try and bring the withdrawal agreement bill back then. We are going to have to be very vigilant, and distraction tactics are going to be huge. And this climate change stuff has drawn a lot of people in, and it's got them talking about that as opposed to keeping their attention tightly focused on, it's kind of like the Prime Minister. All the time she's in office, she's still running for the line with that. I use a rugby analogy, with that ball tucked under her arm, under her shoulder, trying to run. And we're just we got to keep on putting in the tackles. We've got to stop her getting to that line, because if she does, we are on a path to hell.
Yeah, we'll be a vaginal state.
We got somebody called in. Who's that?
Hello.
No, it's David. From Nottingham. We'll be a vaginal state if she gets that deal through.
Hey, Dave.
She's what, sorry, David?
We'll be a vaginal state. That's not a deal. It's fucking surrender.
About a vaginal state?
Yeah, well, vassal, that's what I meant, actually. No, it's just ridiculous. It's the worst deal that anyone could possibly... I don't even know if she can even try to call that Brexit, to be honest.
She's not. She's
not what I bloody voted for.
It's a double-headed coin, isn't it? I mean, it is. Yeah. She's trying to give us the choice of her deal or
no deal. Yeah, that's the second referendum. She wants to be her deal or remain,
which is a double-headed coin. It's tells you win.
I'd boycott that altogether.
Tells you lose. Yeah. So no, it's not. It's absolute nonsense, David. Yeah. What was your point? Is it that, or you got other things?
Also, I had one about Boris as well. Boris's problem is he can't make his mind up on anything, can he? He wrote out 2 speeches, one for Remain and one for Leave.
That's right. He said he was setting out his arguments, though, Dave, to clear his head and then make a decision from that. And when he did that, he decided that he was going to go the Leave way. But I'm not saying that he's genuine. I personally seriously suspect he's controlled opposition and always was, and would bring attention to the fact that when he won and was stood at that podium the morning after, I mean, he was positively blanched. He was shocked, it seemed to me. I don't know. Maybe that was just I was reading too much into it, but But on the other hand,
I don't think and none of them expected to win, did they?
But if with Boris with Boris though, Robin, what's your take on this? With Boris now, he has backed himself into a corner. How could he not deliver true Brexit?
Well, by kicking it into long grass, saying. I mean, for example, the first thing you would do in that scenario, this is always going to be a big worry, is that what would happen is whoever wins the leadership, be it Boris or anybody else, would immediately say, look, we've got to renegotiate, we've got to start again. The first thing I've got to do is go and get another extension. They go and get another extension for a year or another 6 months or whatever, and they placate Macron, who is sort of, getting all testy because he wants to get rid of us. Apparently, but I'm not sure I quite believe that. I'm sure he likes the massive contributions we make to EU funds as much as anybody else. And they kick into long grass, saying that he needs to renegotiate. I mean, this is the problem. Boris comes along and says, "This is not Brexit. The withdrawal agreement is not Brexit. I have to go and renegotiate." And then we're in for another year, aren't we? While he's renegotiating, it's like, do we know whether we can trust him? No. This is the thing. Trust has broken down.
There's no trust no more.
Yeah.
We've got somebody else called in. We've got somebody else called in as well. Who's that, please?
Hello, it's me, it's Wolfcat.
Hey, Wolfcat, what would you like to say or ask?
Again, what I would like to say is that your guest tonight is, I'm a little bit loaded with a cold,
Yeah, you got a cold.
I should never have gone outside yesterday because the name of the month has got an R in it. What I'm trying to say, though, is that he is spot on with a lot of things that he says, but what I've noticed, because, as you know, I'm German, and when I was still there for, I think, about 3 or 6 months when the euro came out, what they've done back then is they've inflated all the prices to numbers that made no sense to any German. It used to be all of a sudden a tin of something would cost 41 something, or prices like 1.43. That didn't make any sense, and they explained that away by saying, "Oh no, we're getting ready because of the exchange rate for the euro." But back then, we were all made to believe there is not going to be an exchange rate; it's going to be a 1-to-1. That clearly wasn't true, because the day the euro came in, everything was double the price, but my income halved. You see what I mean? This is where they absolutely screwed us so badly. And I'm thinking that everybody else in the Eurozone, thank God Britain didn't take the euro, because they were absolutely children scared of fire because of the test flight they did in 1992, with the exchange mechanism thing.
Yeah.
I think if we stay in the EU, we've got to join the euro by 2021.
Yeah,
I think it's compulsory if we stay in. Yeah.
You don't want to do that because it's going to bankrupt you at the grassroots. You have got no idea how much they will explain it away. Oh no, we need to pay solidarity.
It gives them more control over our country if we join the euro. That's it. We're financially fucked because we're dependent on them.
Dave.
Absolutely, totally. You'll be screwed. And I'll tell you one thing. I'll tell you another thing, right? When the European exchange rate mechanism was tested, which currencies did they use? They used the Deutschmark against the pound sterling twice. Yeah. And the pound sterling always went down. Which one of the two was the stronger currency? I've only studied economic sciences for 6 months, but that teaches me the pound sterling has always been the stronger currency, always, and it still is now. It still is now, I'm telling you. You can pay with pound sterling anywhere in the world right now. You cannot pay anywhere with euro. They just go, "Oh, no, we don't want it."
Well, okay.
That is absolutely the truth.
Well,
and what I'm surprised about, and that needs to be that needs to become an issue in a lot of programs. Where's the spine of all the individual European countries gone? Yeah, they used to be, oh, I'm a Française, ooh la la, and all of that. Do you know?
Yeah.
Where is that gone? It's gone. It's gone into
Yeah,
oblivion.
right.
Oh no, we are Europeans now.
Can I just? Can
Okay.
I
Well,
just?
European
Wolfcat,
state, they want to
Andrea.
kill nationalism.
Was that
Hold on, go on.
part German, part sort of like northeast French accent there? Because I'm loving the combination.
Wolfcat?
Well, I'm a German, and I'm living in the northeast of England. I'll tell
Yeah, I
you.
can tell. I can hear it, and then you do a French accent. That's brilliant. Now that is what I call internationalism.
Yeah, it's internationalism, but I'm not a globalist, you know. Ooh la la.
Well, no. Brilliant. Love it.
Yeah.
Robin,
You know,
tell me.
yeah.
So this thing,
I
this
can do Swiss, you know. You just have to wait a little bit and wait for me, because every time I finish a sentence, it's going to go up.
No, I know. Yeah, absolutely. What were we going to ask you, Ollie?
well, this thing that Dave brought up about the Lisbon Treaty kicking in and us having to adopt the euro, where would we stand with that if talks are just extended?
Again, the problem I got is I haven't read the Lisbon Treaty. I did read the Lisbon Treaty a long time ago. I haven't read it for a long time, and a lot of the stuff that's been put out on the internet. Dave, are you referring? Have you read the Lisbon Treaty, or have you read reports of what it says?
Can I butt in here now and ask you one question?
Hang on, Dave.
Just a second.
Yes.
Why was this? Why
Do you
was
know
this
what,
treaty
Wolfcat? Hold on, Wolfcat. Dave, please.
Okay.
Yes. Right, I didn't read the Lisbon Treaty. No, have you seen the size of the flipping thing?
Yeah, I have.
But I've heard respectable people who know a lot more about.
Neither did Gordon
new treaty
Brown.
that's been drawn up, and by 2021 or 2022, all the EU countries, because they want to build a super state, and we're all going to have to use the euro.
Yeah, okay.
They're changing it to like, it's not going to be the EU, it's going to be the ESU, it's going to be the United States of Europe, and they want more power to be given to the European Union.
Okay, this stuff has been overplayed. I mean, the Lisbon Treaty, when it went through
Can
for
I
ratification. Hang on.
Why the Lisbon Treaty? Why was it done in Lisbon? Lisbon is a slice of the earth of Spain.
Okay.
What's that got to do with it, Andrea? Wolfcat?
Sorry?
What's that got to do with it, that it's off Spain?
Yeah. Did you not realize this? Look at the map. Everything important that's got to do with the EU is in very relatively small countries. How big do you think everything that surrounds Brussels is? Belgium is tiny. Why is it in Belgium? I don't get this. Do you know?
Well, I don't know. I mean, maybe they were trying to be
How big is
egalitarian
Holland in
somehow.
comparison to everybody else? How big is Lisbon in comparison to all the other important European countries that wind up paying for it? I just don't get this. Why they have to do all these treaties in the most insignificant European backstops to make it happen. I just don't get it.
Yeah.
Well, we were promised in the 70s that all it was a trading bloc. I mean, it's. I think we were lied to back then as well. So really, the whole thing should be scrapped anyway.
Yeah, but I tell you what, I'm just going to go off the line now because I need to rest my voice. And
Wolfcat,
thank you for listening to me.
Thank you very much, Wolfcat. You take care. Nighty night to you. God bless you.
Thank you.
Alrighty.
Night,
Okay.
bye.
Cheerio. Blimey. Poor Wolfcat. I think she just okay. So yes, I mean it's a nightmare. We're in it, and we're just wondering if we're going to be out of it in the meantime. And we are relying on what? We're relying on these
Has
EU
anyone ever
elections.
escaped the EU?
Dave, one sec. We're relying on these EU elections, are we not, to force Parliament to take democracy seriously? But is that going to happen? Is that going to happen?
No. No, I think the day after the referendum, they already put into motion a plan that we're staying in. We can't leave.
How-
No country's ever left.
Is it gonna give them any pressure, Robin? Do you think these EU elections and the local elections, even given that the 1922 committee is at such odds with the sentiment of its grassroots?
Well, it's going to eventually the truth will dawn on the Conservative Party, and they'll act too little, too late. That's the kind of pattern we should expect.
Were you aware that Mr. Blair changed the treason laws in 1999 because we're handing over power to the EU, to a foreign entity? So he changed all the treason laws in 1999. He did to protect the backs.
I think you'll find. I don't know. I mean, have you read them, the treason laws?
He repealed. Yeah, he repealed a lot of them. He did.
Well, okay.
The EU is actually a foreign entity to UK.
I think you'll find that was Heath who did that in the.
No, Mr. Blair did as well in 1999.
Okay, well I don't know, but
he did.
The trouble is, Dave, having conversations like this about stuff like that is riddled with problems, because there are so many people who just put up half-baked stuff on the internet. If you've actually read the law, if you've been on parliament.uk and read the document, and you can verify you've read the document, then great. But I'm sorry, there's so many people repeating stuff which is just made up nonsense in order, and probably made up by our opponents, if you like, to make us sound ridiculous, incredible conspiracy theorists.
Yeah.
and provably so.
Yeah.
Then I'm sorry. Anyway, listen, Ollie, I'm really sorry. It's 5:28. I've got to go because I've got to make a call to somebody.
Robin.
Well, I was supposed to make it 10 minutes ago, so I'm going to have to leave you.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much indeed, Robin Horsley. Good to talk to you tonight. Thank you.
Pleasure. Thanks, Ollie. Cheers now.
Cheerio.
Bye.
And we've got another caller as well. Hello. Good evening. You're on Daily Brexit.
Hello. Ollie.
Yeah.
Mark. I phoned up before.
Hey, Mark. How are you?
All I can say is, Tommy. He's running for an MEP now. So what do you think about that?
That's right. He is. Hold on a sec. I'll pull up the story. Mail Online, for example. They'll long for the days when it was just Nigel Farage. Tommy Robinson announces he will stand as an MEP in the European elections to represent the working class of England. Tommy Robinson today revealed he's standing to be an MEP at next month's European elections. The former leader of the far-right EDL, this is Mail Online, I'm reading from, will go up against candidates in the northwest of England, and took a swipe at Nigel Farage, whose new Brexit party is leading in the polls, calling him just another millionaire who looks down at the working classes. Mr. Robinson, whose real name is submitted his £5,000 deposit to be on the ballot. So he's running as an independent.
Absolutely, yeah, and I think it's brilliant news. I'll be surprised if the Brexit Club is in front next week, a week's time. He's up in Withenshaw now, isn't he, doing something up there on one of the council estates, and he's going to go around a lot of the council estates. I think he's going to wake up some sleeping giant, I do.
Where's he fighting?
They're going to get all sorts of people voting for get him in.
Where's he? What region is he fighting for?
He's, I think it's Manchester. He's up there now. It was a stronghold for UKIP, I think.
Was it?
A couple of people got voted in there.
Really?
With their seat there, UKIP.
So that sounds as though he could have a strong chance.
Yes, yeah, exactly, yeah. But he's in Withenshaw tonight, which is a huge council estate, and he's having a barbecue with all the locals. Whether that's a good PR move, of course, well, it is. Of course, it is. God knows what he's doing up there, because I'm not there myself. But he's going to be creating a stir. He's going to be doing his thing, and when you're talking in communities like that, people do listen to people like that because he tells the truth. I know a lot of people. Sounds as though he could have a strong chance.
What's that? You got to mute yourself. Mute the tab when you're not. Yeah. Incredible, Dave. Mark.
Yeah.
Are you still there?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Good. All right. Fantastic. Well, what else did you want to say, Mark? What do you want to say, mate?
Just that I'm chuffed to bits that Tommy Robinson's now running for the UKIP. I'm going to be voting for him.
So, do you live? Do you live in the region where he is, where he's standing?
I'm seeking out an address there now as we speak, so I can register there and vote.
Well, apparently it's Manchester.
Like every decent person should.
Apparently it's Manchester. So he could do.
I don't think I'll get away with that one, though, but I'd love to.
So it's interesting. He's having to run as an independent because he's not allowed to run for UKIP because he's not a member of UKIP. But he's kind of like a surrogate UKIP candidate in a way. Be interesting to see if UKIP actually stand down a candidate in Manchester. I don't know. I wonder what the deal is with that. Take a few comments. Gary Bolton says, Tommy Robinson and Farage facing off in Brussels. How entertaining will that be? Yeah, that's right. John Middleton, I've got college in the Washington police station because I posted a comment on the site back in 2011. I put a post up earlier. Let me see if I can find this quickly. Somebody just put a link to a Tommy Robinson page or something.
That was me.
Did you do that? And they were banned. They got a 30-day ban, and then their account was completely cancelled. Apparently, let me see if I can find this post because here we go.
No, that one wasn't me, but yes, I've heard a few people get that.
I'm not going to say who this is from because I didn't tell her that I was putting this on my timeline, but I just put it as anon. And hold on a sec. Let me see. There you go. I was on a 30-day ban for sharing a link to Tommy Robinson Telegram. Today, my account is totally disabled. It's just incredible hearing so many stories like that. I mean, basically, the guy is not extreme. I'm sorry. He's opening up some very interesting debates. And I'd be fascinated to hear anybody who disagrees with that would like to come on the show and discuss it with respect. But I don't really think the media just want a fall guy, don't they? It seems to me. A few more comments. John Middleton and the other half of the family were screwed over by the dead corporation actor acting for them. I'm not sure what he's referring to there, actually. Wendy Miller says, I don't think UKIP will, Ollie. As Batten has stated so many times, Tommy will not be in UKIP unless voted for. And Wendy, I think, is referring to the idea that maybe they would stand down in Manchester. Sarah Boland, the Manchester mayor will come out and swipe at him. That's, what's his name? That's that Labour bloke, Blairite geezer, in the last leadership bid. Didn't do it. David Laddie, bad job when you find a bit of spaghetti in your dressing gown pocket from last week. Mark Leyland, the worst thing UKIP and the Brexit Party can do is to start swiping at each other. We want the same thing. The only way we can beat these anti-democratic bastards is to stand together. I totally agree with you. Mark. I just wonder if those two leaders of those parties are too stubborn to come together for the sake of the country. But we live in hope. Leah Lewis says, so can you still be hanged for treason? That's her question. And yes, no, I think that's what Dave was talking about a little bit. Blair's reforms when he decriminalized, he reduced the ultimate, reduced the penalty for treason from hanging to life imprisonment. And
he also made all bylaws law, didn't he?
He made all bylaws law. Dave, you'll have to explain what that means, please.
Well, I can't remember the ins and outs of it, but any time laws are made, you get bylaws and criminal laws. Mm-hmm. Bylaws are made by local authority, and they can enforce it now criminally. Any law, but it's a bylaw that they make. So it pretty much makes council able to create laws and lock you up for it.
I can see that has huge implications. I've not heard that. I'd be interested to hear if anybody wants to come on.
A few years ago it happened.
A bit of detail.
Well, obviously, because Tony Blair done it. The traitor.
Blimey. Well, you know what? I'm going to go, and it's Thursday. So, yeah.
Take care, Ollie. Good night.
God bless you, folks. God bless you. I want to say a big cheers to my guest tonight, Robin Horsley, from the Great Brexit Debate. And to everybody that called in, Wolfcat, Dave and Mark. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, this has been the Daily Brexit, and I am Olly Connelly. And I'll be back. Yeah, kind of had a few days off for Easter and what have you, but sort of back proper from next week, Monday at 7. If you can afford to support the show, please do. PayPal.me/Brexit. Thank you, please. Just a couple of quid. What Stop laughing. They're laughing at the bottom of the screen. They're laughing. I want to get some software. I want to get some. Yeah. Okay. Here's to us and bugger plutocracy. Yeah. Yeah. Right. See you next. Yeah, Monday. Have a good weekend. You know this music goes on for another 10 minutes. I just put it on a loop. All right, ciao, folks. God bless you. Have a good night. Beer o'clock. Yeah, enjoy it. Oh, hold on. No, it's not finished yet. Got to wait for it. Come on. Do. Yay!